for me is I was involved in a hospital management company, and we got hit by Hurricane Andrew, which must have made it 92, and I forced 2 machines in there. And I go down there and, to give this award to this guy who knocked out all the toilets in the 1st and 2nd floor of the hospital, putting drains in the floor if there's a hurricane. Remember that someday if you need it. And I'm giving this guy an award for doing this. And the guy, CEO, looks at me and says, "Aren't you the Pyxis guy?" And I went, "Well, I'm involved in a number of things." And he said, "Boy, did you create a problem for me." My heart sank. And I said, well, what happened? And he said, well, 2 days ago I went to rotate the nurses so they don't always work in the same area. And I walked out of my office, and all my off-duty nurses were sitting cross-legged on the floor in front of my office going, "Pyxis, Pyxis, Pyxis." And he said, they wouldn't go back to work. They wouldn't rotate off the Pyxis more. And he said, "I don't know the goddamn things are, but I just ordered 53 more of them." And it was, you know, in the book, The Tipping Point, this was the tipping point. From that day forward, we couldn't make them fast enough. The nurses became our product development people, saying, "Could you do one of them to do this? Could you do one of them to do this? Could you do one of them to do this?" And one of the other sort of momentum things was, one day I was also at another hospital I was involved in, and we were trying to decide whether to spend $1 million on a lot for offices across the street from the hospital. And some young guy in the meeting, why he was there, I don't know, said, "Why don't we just build the offices in the pharmacy warehouse, in the warehouse space?" And the CEO said, "You know, good idea. We'll just put all the inventory out on the sidewalk and put a tarp over it." And he said, "No, you don't understand my job." He said, 95% of what we use, including blankets and pillows, are in Pyxis units. I sit in the warehouse, I watch the 4 computer screens, and when we're low on urinary catheters on 4 East, I say, "Ivor, get a grocery cart, go up to 4 East and put urinary catheters in." He said, "Why don't we just have our vendors tap into this and have them come to the hospitals and fill the Pyxis units? And if we really want to be gutsy, don't even pay for the products until the nurses actually remove it and use it." And I went, "Oh my God, can I leave the room?" And we came back and put together a program called Pyxize Your Hospital, and this spread. And we were doing real nicely, and so we hired bankers to go out and say, we need to buy a distributor, so we're going to have Pyxis trucks driving around doing this. And we were meeting with the people from Cardinal Health outside Columbus, Ohio, and the head of Cardinal said, "Oh, you guys are entrepreneurs, you don't want to do this." He said, "We'll give you $1 billion for it and put our trucks there." We kind of, let me think about it for a minute. Okay, we got it. And we got about a 70 times return on that.
That's absolutely fantastic. That's very historical. Now, you guys, and I'm sure it's true for you too, Jim, you know, describe a period of time where people were really, you know, you guys as venture capitalists were very entrepreneurial, freewheeling, went according to your gut reaction. I mean, even when we started Hybrid-Tech, I remember with Tom Perkins, it was his gut reaction that said, "Hey, you know, this is pretty neat stuff you guys are doing. I'll give you a couple $100,000. I mean, I asked for a couple hundred. He said, "I'll give you 300. Remember on his first, and you know, that doesn't happen today very much. I'm a venture capitalist now. I've joined the ranks. I have to write a 10-page deal memo, you know, looking at the markets and doing due diligence, calling pharmaceutical executives and all this kind of stuff. We can't do investments the way we did them before. Is that true? Or maybe it's not true.
It's not true for us. One of my Boston partners has a great quip. He says, "Due diligence is what you do when you don't want to do a deal."
Yeah. He described that to Zynga. I told him to mention the word Zynga.
No, but I mean, a lot of stuff I do in my private life is all based on gut feel.
Right.
I mean, at least not many good things come with age, but one of them is you get a good template matching and quick ability to say, "Does this sound like a good idea? Can I see this through to a liquidity event and so forth?" Sort of, you know, either pro or con. Sort of like Eisenhower saying, "You didn't think a land war in Asia was a good idea, so he wasn't going to bail out the French at Dien Bien Phu." Anyway,
but that's your fund is, you've had a lot of successful funds. Your funds have in the past tend to be a little bit smaller than some of the others. So are you able to continue that kind of you know, operation?
We are, because we like to give people enough
Domain, much larger.
Well,
Domain, yeah, much larger fund.
We do, yeah, I mean, the short answer is, you know, with a $500 million fund, you can't take $500 million and say we're going to, you know, be entrepreneurial with it. But we have created, you know, we have a, I guess we describe it as a, if you would, a company creation activity within our firm. And you know Eckhart Weber and Debbie Liebert, who's working closely with him. Their whole mission is to create companies from whole cloth, to be essentially the sort of the entrepreneur in charge, if you would. And you know, Rexogen, a local company, their products are based on inventions that Eckhart made with a couple of other people. So you know, you could call us entrepreneurial. We started that in about the year 2000. Okay, we're going to continue to do it. We think it's one of the best activities we have ongoing. We more recently invested in a company that is in the CTC space, Epic Sciences, that's out of Scripps. We seeded that about 2.5, 3 years ago, Kim Kamdar's pet project, and we're highly enthusiastic about that. So we're still seeding things at an early stage. We're still allocating partnership time, but it's not 100% of what Domain does. And you know, just to that end, the industry has become very institutionalized in terms of sources of capital. And if you go back to the decisions that Kleiner Perkins made with Hybritech and Tandem Computers and a variety of the companies that we tend to, obviously Genentech, they had about 4 limited partners. They had Stanford and they had the Hillmans essentially pushing not too much money at them, and they did very well by that. And BioVest, which has got to be the most successful venture partnership ever created with you and Ted, that's $5 million that came from what, Henry Hillman and a little bit from Stanford, not from
Sutter Hill Ventures.
Sutter Hill Ventures, right. And so you had 2 people that basically said, boy, we got some horses, we're going to ride them, and they did. But you can't scale that. In fact, I think one of the great stories is Stanford came back and said, we'll give you $50 million, and you guys said, no, we're not, you can't do it. I don't, that's your story.
There are multiple reasons.
Well, let's just talk about, Kevin has touched on some of the things that have changed already over the past 30 years. He's talked about the absence of the IPO market, but let's talk about what else is going on. There's been, I mean, I'm in the business, there have been substantial changes in the venture business and funding life science companies over the past 30 years. It is extremely challenging today, I think, for the most part. Can you elucidate a little bit more? What are some of the, Tim, what are some of the other things besides the IPO market vanishing? The IPO, the public used to finance our companies and take them to, and we've achieved liquidity. They were willing to bet on our ideas, but after a while, when they saw that they weren't making any, as an index, they weren't really making much money compared to treasuries, I think they backed out. And the public doesn't finance hope and promise anymore like they used to. So what else is though? What else has changed, Tim?
Well, I think, you know, with the IPO going away, I think that one of the things that when Ted Green left Hybritech, he wrote a memo at their request to Eli Lilly, where what he said is that the pharmaceutical companies will follow the path of the oil companies, that the biotechs will become the wildcatters to find the oil, and the pharmaceutical companies will be left owning the pipelines, the refineries, and the gas stations. And I think that's somewhat coming true. I mean, you find today that some of the big pharmaceutical companies, you know, are shutting down campuses where they had 3,500 people doing R&D, and instead are saying we could take that money and we'd be better off buying the biotech companies as they develop because they're so much more productive. So I think that's one of the things. Now,